Tell me about this hat. What is that?
This is a blackout Astros hat. H-Town represent Houston.
That's cool. I've never seen the blackout version. I like it.
Yeah, I stole it from my wife. So.
Well, I think we're live here. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Oh, hey guys.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon, rather, over here. We had a little scheduling hiccup, but that's okay. We hope that it allows more of you to join us.
That'd be cool.
We got 4 people here. Put a little shout out. Say, "Oh, Tomer's here." Yeah, let us know you're here in the comments. Everybody's awake, doing good.
Tomer, what's up? What's up? Yeah, hopefully awake. Man, I've been up since like 5 this morning.
Yeah.
I don't think I went to sleep last night. Rick and I were on a jam session last night with the coin guy out of Australia.
Oh, I heard about that. That's cool.
Yeah, we're hanging out with Sam King. If you guys have seen Sam King, he's got some good ideas, and it's hard to time zone people in Australia apparently.
Yeah, I would bet. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, somebody pointed, and Christopher. What's up, Christopher? Thanks for joining us. Somebody pointed out, which is really good actually, Eric Henning. You know Eric Henning?
No, maybe just not by name.
I know he's a professional magician in the circuit. I don't remember what kind of shows he does, but I've heard him in podcasts and stuff before. And he pointed out that I put in the email it's going to be 2 p.m. Eastern time, but it's supposed to be 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time because of the daylight savings thing.
Oh.
And I was like, oh man. So
yeah,
that's okay.
The interesting thing with Sam the other night. I didn't realize he was like plus 9.5 hours, like as a half-hour time zone.
Oh wow. Yeah, Tomer says it's 9 p.m. in Israel right now.
Okay. Wow. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I wonder if are you always awake? Most magicians are awake really late though. I feel like conventions, we all stay awake super late and then, get up super late. So I don't know.
I think there's something to that. I think there is,
Really?
Yeah, I think the creativity, something about like coming on that second wave. And I think there's super amazing spiritual energy first thing in the morning with sunrise. But after the moon rise, after the sunset, I think there's a very interesting creative energy. Yeah. Very cool. Well, today we're talking about character. Yes.
How to make sure your character shines through in your magic. Very important. And originally this topic kind of came to light because of a story that you told, Jeff. And I wanted to see if you wanted to tell that again real quick. Would you want to do our new segment first and then get into that, or?
I'd say we save that for last. Say that as a bonus because for the people that stick with us, that's a good spot for it, in my opinion.
That sounds good. We got a new segment coming up at the end here, guys. So you want to tell us that story, the story from the blog?
Yeah. So you guys know if I'm out performing, I don't do nothing but coins. I perform everything. I perform general magic. It's just my creativity has always been in coin magic. For whatever reason, these objects fit in my hands naturally. And most of my creation outside of coin magic is just like card magic done with it's coin magic done with cards. So a lot of palming, a lot of that kind of stuff where I'm manipulating, making cards vanish, reappear, relocation, that kind of stuff. And so I was, oh my gosh, when you zoomed in on me, I was like, oh my goodness. I was going with the kids at church this morning. Somebody must have hit me with one of the dodgeballs. I forgot.
Stray dodgeball out of nowhere.
That's fine.
Sorry.
Everything that's about my life. So that's perfect. And my glasses are crooked. That explains everything else. But I was performing multiple selection as one of my favorite card effects, I think, because it gets so many people involved. And so I'm known to do that for 14, 16 people at a time. And I had a group of folks around me, and I was performing multiple selections. If you don't know the effect, everybody selects a card. Instead of just pick a card, one card, everybody in the audience, usually if you're at a big table or a whole front row of your show, everybody gets their own selected card, and then you proceed to find them. And hopefully every single time it builds a little more magical. Each one is this extra effect, right? And so I've got everybody selected the cards, and I'm going around changing things, pulling things out of my pocket, pull it out of my hat, just wherever I can find cards, reveal them, color change them in the spectator's hands. Like every single time, it's something kind of, it's just a little bit of rise and flow into it, but it's building, right? And so for the last effect, I'm doing something I've done forever. Maybe some of you guys have seen this effect, but the last revelation, I pulled the card out of my fly, pulled down my zipper of my pants and literally pulled the card out of there. And so I've done this my whole life. I've done this my whole professional career. That's kind of the way I end it. And there's nothing sexual or risque about it. It's just like it's a real impossible location. The playing card comes out of there, and everybody goes, I can't believe it. It's like this big shock is what it is. It's can't believe Jeff, who's this very traditional, clean cut, very G-rated show, and all of a sudden I pull a card out of a spot that is not expected. And so what happened? The reason I bring up the story is. I had a friend in the audience, a friend who's a mentor in my life, and he pulled me aside. He took like a month or two. I think he was still thinking about the right way to approach me and everything, and said, "Hey, man, that's probably not the most appropriate thing to do." And since I respect him, I had to think about it for a little while. And one of the things that he mentioned to me, he said, you magicians, you're always trying to catch people off guard. You're trying to do things that are unique, and maybe. You were just trying to shock us. That was his exact term. That's where I come up with the word. He said, maybe you were just trying to shock us. And I said, And I sat on it. And he said, you know what? I don't need a response right now. It's your choice. It's your show, how you perform. He said, but I think, and he said for several reasons. One, it may lead people to think that you're somebody who you're not, or some people may struggle with that sort of thing of seeing that kind of action or leading to something. So he said, this is his thought process. In his mind, said, I don't think that really fits in your show, and maybe you're trying to shock people. So I said, I thought about it. I said, I'll think about that for a little while. And so I did. I went home. I thought about it for a week or two because he had taken about a month or so before he responded to me. And so I wrote him back an email, and I said, you know what, you're right. That doesn't belong in my show. And I know what you're thinking. Someone's like, you think my friend's a prude, and that's like not. Here's the deal. The reason was because everything about my magic show is about creating beauty and astonishment and creating awe and wonder. Shock is not my character. It didn't fit who I was. It doesn't fit into my show is not about shock or bizarre. It's not about being just weirding people out or grossing people out. It's not, if I've got some sort of mentalism element or it's not about getting inside of somebody's head and really messing with them or challenging my show is about creating beauty and wonder and amazement and, oh, wow, that's possible. Anything is possible. Those sorts of captivating things that will hopefully create wonder and amazement that anything is possible. And most for that we live in a beautiful world and we're missing all this beauty around us every single day. And magic can like challenge that and bring that forward. And so I dropped that. Since this day, it's been years. I have not pulled a card out of my flyer once again because it didn't fit my character. And I'd seen Michael Marr do it. I'd seen Matt King do it. Probably seen, I think Doc Easton. I'm not really sure. I know he does multiple sections. I've seen some big name guys do this, and maybe or maybe not it fits their character. I'm not going to judge them, and I'm not here to judge you on this sort of thing. I'm just saying for me, it didn't fit. It wasn't about beautiful magic. It was shock. And it got a big reaction. It played big, but at what cost to my character? At what cost to my level of professionalism? And so that's what we're talking about today with character. So
that's super. Thank you for sharing that. It's super interesting. I thought the story because, like you said, immediately you would first think, "Oh, well, that's okay. You don't need to worry about that." But it's like, no. The reason you're worrying about it is because does it fit who you're trying to portray? Mm-hmm. That's like the key here is we're trying to figure out how to make your character shine through, not necessarily telling you what to do with your character, but how to make sure that you're keeping your character consistent, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you what your character is. I can't tell you if that does or does not fit for your character. I can tell you my friend who shared this stuff, I understand his validating points and why I wouldn't do it anymore. But I mean, what are you chasing after, and is it consistent? Because that's something I read about it, I saw other people do it, I just assume, hey, I can do it, it's within my skill set, so why not do it? But I think how many people are doing that with slights or moves or effects or scripts and patterns and things they're saying, and not even questioning, is this who I am?
Hmm. Yeah, and is this kind of what I want? So we had a couple points to talk about with here, and that was a perfect transition into that. Is um, this idea that you have to tell the audience who you are through what you do, or else they will come up with it themselves.
Ooh,
If you don't tell them who you are by showing them, or maybe part of your dialogue and your script reveals about your character, then they will make assumptions on their own. And sounds just like that's what your friend did. Like he was thinking, oh, I wonder why Jeff did this. Maybe he's doing it because of this, or maybe this, but it felt weird because of this. You know, you weren't making it clear in that moment, and so he had to come to his own conclusions. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. You know, and that brings to a point, like from the very beginning, even before I shave my head and worry about the studio lights glaring off. Um, I almost always wore a hat when I performed, because in my mind, a magician wears a hat. Like it goes back to the days of the top hat. So usually I've got more of a performance hat on, or something that's kind of interesting, more street. But that was one of the things. If you saw me on stage from almost day one of my career, like I wanted to tell the people that I'm a magician just by my look. And so I try to do something that was just a hair different. And I've always admired somebody that can pull it off performing in a top hat. And I mean, people can do it. Look at Juan Tamariz. You can still put on the top hat if you own the character. And I just applaud that, because it instantly communicates to the audience, hey, I'm a magician. I'm here to entertain you. And if you can instantly communicate that, like you're saying, tell the audience that I'm professional, that I'm legit, and own it, and like your magic lines up to it, then half your battle's won. 90% of your hecklers are silenced. Like your audience is going to appreciate who you are. Like when you tell them straight up, much better than letting them guess, you know?
Now, I do have a question. That's interesting you bring up. What can you expound upon that? 90% of your hecklers are silenced. What exactly do you mean there?
Well, I think that a confident performer is going to have less hecklers in general, right? I mean, when a heckler realizes this guy is above my game, like he's going to beat me, like I can't figure it out. I think that silences people when you're addressing yourself as professional. It's the timid person, it's the person that doesn't really command the stage, that is going to have more trouble with the heckler. Now, anybody and everybody can get heckled. I mean, you can probably find YouTube videos of some top name comedians or magicians that incident happens. You can't control when somebody's intoxicated or drug induced or just out of line or having a really rotten day and they're just trying to flex their muscles and their intellectual superiority. Then that happens. And so, but that's why I say, like 90% of the time, a good chunk, a strong percentage of the time, when you are presenting yourself as professional and you come in confidence, when you greet the table and say, I'm the house magician, and you can find and address the people that want to see the magic first, then that heckler is going to get in line. I think when he knows that there's a team against him. That's what I always told people, and I don't know if this is off topic or not, but my audience, I didn't have hecklers when I was performing day in and day out, like in comedy clubs and stuff like that, when I lived in the college town, because like a pack of wolves, the audience would turn on the heckler for me. Mm-hmm. They knew that I was a nice guy and that I was legitimate, and I didn't deal with that. I can't tell you multiple times, like I used to perform at the comedy sets, and the comedians are up telling jokes, and I'm getting up as a magician. And again, this is when I was stuck in Middle Missouri, United States. I was looking for gigs anywhere I could get them. I wasn't going to quit magic. And so I went to these open mic shows that were a lot of the local up and coming comedians, sometimes at the actual comedy club where I could get on this opening act. And so I wasn't the funniest guy in the room. And I know that to this day. I was not, but I had the magic to wow people and to do the amazing, astonishing stuff. And so I had some hecklers because of real environments. These are bar environments, like real guys that would chant out against me or say, "What's this fella doing on the stage?" And they just say insults. Which I won't repeat to this day, but the audience would just turn on them. And I say, "Hey, you down back?" And they would start booing that guy because I was up there as a professional, and they just knew that I didn't need that, and they were having fun. They didn't want to deal with that. They're like, "Hey, this guy's up here doing something we've never seen," and so like I had this whole, I just literally call him a wolf pack that anytime that happened, man, they would just jump on them, and I didn't have to deal with it so much, you know?
Yeah, that's cool. It's also, it's kind of like just that it's hard to talk about this because there's so many different characters out there that we it's hard for us to encapsulate advice that would apply to everybody. But just in case anybody's watching and they're thinking, if I ever have to deal with hecklers, like I don't want to appear like maybe I'm kind of beat down, or maybe I need somebody's help to help me. Just that, I think what Jeff's saying is just that confidence that you are in control of this situation will help silence the hecklers and help other people to silence them for you, because your approach is, like we said at the beginning, clear and helping people to know what's going on. They're not sitting there confused about, who is this guy? What exactly is happening here? They're instead going, oh, I get it, and I want to see it. So let's tell this guy to not be such a jerk,
This guy's not in on the program. He's had one too many drinks or something. Like, we're not going to put up with that. And like, we have a community here, and like that's a super cool thing. I think that's, to say as much as possible, like what I'm trying to do, as much as like guys like Juan Tamariz, they said he was in concert, right? When Tamariz is performing, he's in concert. Why is that? Because he's the maestro. He's directing his audience. And so that's what you're trying to do. And owning your character and knowing what it is, I mean, it just helps so much. There's multiple ways to deal with hecklers, and some guys intellectually outpower them. Some guys have all the quips and the lines to silence them. And the best way, if that's who you are, say that stuff. Go to comedy shows and watch how the stand-up comedians have to deal with that night in, night out, because they're the good ones, will handle it. But I'm saying that was my way, is just get everybody on my side. Like, and if you're not, then you're not part of the program and you're not welcome,
So I want to make this almost like a little bit of almost like a workshop right here, right now. I didn't plan this with Jeff, but I think it's a good idea. You guys in the comments, put in something that's, like what your character is, or what character you would like to kind of portray, or as we're going to continue in some different topics here, put in maybe some ideas or some questions that you may have, and we can kind of talk about them right here, right now, and just show everybody the variety of characters and the variety of approaches that you can take that will make that character shine through no matter what you're trying to do. Because the next thing I wanted to talk about that you have mentioned before, Jeff, was what is your goal in magic? Like thinking, what is the thing that I want to happen here? You mentioned a little bit before that you try to create wonder and approach, get people to think about the beauty of the world. And I just think it's a really good topic of what are you trying to get? What are the reactions that you want? And what do you want it to look like so that we can reverse engineer it?
Yeah. So I think that, man, I had just, I can go down a wormhole in this, but this is just, it's a work in progress. And I would hope we all someday get a chance to sit down at a convention together and just chat about this, because I know there's so many different opinions and things like that. But I think that with this constantly in my pocket, the anti-mystery machine constantly in my pocket, this intelligent microcomputer that when I was a child, this would have cost $1 billion. I mean, this technology would have cost, maybe $10 billion. And now for $1,000 I can own access to all the world's resources. I think just like visually we see the clear cutting of the Amazon rainforest and stuff, that's what we're doing to mystery in this world. We're just plowing through the beauty, the mysterious stuff that slows us down in the search of knowledge and answers, and the desire for power and money. And we get in this hurry to just know everything. And if we would just slow down and step back, breathe, we could experience the beauty. And just around me, I just see left and right every single day. There's another acre of trees cut down in Houston. We don't have any acres of trees to cut down left, but they're just, it's just gone. Beauty is just being wiped away, and we'll get another building, and maybe they'll plant back the same exact species of trees that's in the next building. And it just all this diversity and all the wonder and the mystery is being lost. And so I really think that's like my key word. I mean, as much as beauty, when I'm performing, it's mystery. It's reinstoring that there's mystery in the world and that we don't know the answers. And there's a lot of stuff, that's out there. I mean, there's mystery. I mean, my kids have been big on a dinosaur kick. So the live stream on this, we were actually up in Wyoming digging for dinosaurs. And we found these cool bones, man. We found some Triceratops teeth. I mean, that was like the coolest thing ever. And they let us take them home. Like, we got these Triceratops teeth. And it's like just the mystery of how did that animal die? How did it get there? And, what color was its skin? Like what exactly did it eat? And all these kind of things. And that stuff that's buried in the past by millions or whatever years ago. I mean, and it's just mystery. And just to slow down and to just pick up this, I would have stepped on thought as a rock and then looked across, oh my goodness, there's a tooth. We found some just cool stuff like that, some crocodile skin.
If I could interrupt, if I could explain real quick to everybody, I think what you're hearing Jeff talk about is that's who he is. That's his persona as a person and the things that matter to him. And he allows that. It takes a lot of confidence and courage to allow that to flesh out into your performance. Now, that doesn't mean you have to necessarily do that.
Oh,
right?
no, you don't. Yeah.
Maybe you have a playful character or somebody that you created. We could think of Dan Sperry as definitely a character, Rob Zabrecki, Pop Hayden, Rudy Kobe. We can name so many different characters, but I think it's a great example that Jeff is explaining there. Those are all the things that he drew from real life examples to create the character, really more expanded version of him on stage, right? Or in performance, and so it's really cool to see. We got a comment here from an example, Christopher. He says his character is more of the oddball uncle, doing simple illusions, but with quality props and material. And I also use modern performance theory to make it more amazing. And so the audience expects less, but they get amazement. And I'm sure that is fun. So his whole thing, it has to do with lowering expectations and kind of blowing them out of the water,
Yeah.
So, and you made a perfect, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, I think that's smart. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a perfect, that's another topic that we wanted to mention here is as you're doing this, one of the ways that you could portray your character is through your props. And Christopher mentioned it right here. The quality of his props says a certain thing about him, right? Where his props come from, what he's doing. If Jeff decided to use Triceratops teeth in his show, not only would that be cool, but it would be so unique and it would have a really cool story and be something that was communicating about his character, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of thing. I mean, if I'm placing this item in somebody's hand and for it to change color or to disappear, I mean, I want them to have that reaction, think, wow, that I have no idea. I mean, just think about if you're watching this right now, what got you into magic that moment? But I want to recreate that with purpose. Like, I mean, with us, like we had that moment and it drew us into performing. It drew us into watching this live stream now as we're trying to create and work together to advance magic, right? So what if I can amplify that moment of that mystery and let that linger? I mean, it's just that to me is just, that's beautiful. It's just it's a beautiful gift to give somebody that's so rare. It's such a rare moment in 2021 and beyond. I think it's just likelihood that it's going to become a rare and rare moment, that mystery. And so that's what Jeff McBride talks about all the time, gifting, and he'll actually leave physical gifts with people in their hands. Sometimes this is effects. And my idea is I want to gift them that memory of mystery of, wow, it's just that, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Sure. And some performers want to give them that, holy crap, I can't believe that just happened kind of feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's what are you giving? That's a good analogy there, Jeff. What are you giving the audience? What is the gift you want them to take home with them at the end, physically or metaphorically, after having watched you, So let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah, I like what you're saying.
I haven't seen you perform, Christopher, but I think it'd be like my first thought imagining it, there's so many, it's just such a great idea, because this hopefully shows everybody watching there's so many different ways you could take this one idea, oddball uncle, and think, oh man, what are my experiences with an oddball uncle? You know, maybe the certain way that he dresses would automatically kind of tell us, you know, a little bit about him, or maybe the way he's poking fun, you know, at us, or you know what I mean, the way he interacts with us. Where did he just come from? He just got off a long trip, you know, from, you know, the subway train trying to visit us or something. You know what I mean? Like there's all sorts of different stories and things that come up just by deciding this is who I want to portray. This is kind of where I'm going. Now let me just brainstorm all the stuff, right?
Yeah. What a fun character too. I mean, just like, I mean, most people can relate to that. If not, we can relate to it, you know, from a movie for sure. But like most people can relate. And it's an instant connection right there. You know, if it's a character people can relate to, that they have experienced in their life, and then it's like this guy that just kind of sets the bar low, and then just, you know, it's like, wow, you know, didn't expect it at all. That's cool, man. That's I'm so glad that you're aware of like who you're trying to be, and that's pretty cool.
I appreciate that, Christopher. Thanks for posting that. And a cool little exercise I want to share with you guys that might help just as you're thinking about this, because we're always improving our characters, is consider some of the top magicians in the world, that the lay people, if you ask a lay person, they only know what Chris Angel, David Copperfield, David Blaine, maybe one other if they've seen him, but those are pretty much the three. And if you think, okay, so if I have like let's say a copper silver, you know, routine, how would David Copperfield do it? Okay, how would Chris Angel do it? Okay, how would David Blaine do it? And then now how would I do it? Right?
Wow.
So you get to kind of see, oh, he would do it like if, let's do it right now. What do you think, Jeff? How would David Copperfield do the copper silver?
Yeah, I mean, like old school David Copperfield, I could see very much more theatrical. I could see that if it's, you know, on TV or whatever, be zoomed in on a close-up stage or something, with he'd bring up a spectator and he would do it in front of this massive audience. He'd make this small trick perform big, and then he'd probably end with the coins like levitating or something, you know, like I could see that, right?
Yeah. Or he'd have some massive, like a giant wall of copper that becomes silver or something crazy, you know, like
probably this you know, like you've seen some of the stuff now where like the wall behind him started off silver and then copper or something.
yeah. But then Chris Angel,
I could see him. I could see him doing it bizarre, like it ends up under his skin or something, or one of those kind of the original Chris Angel. I think he would have had it's coming out of his eyeball or something.
Something strange that having to do with the change or something. We didn't prepare for this, so we're just thinking of ideas on the spot. But maybe even something with some kind of a needle changing colors as it tattoos it on his skin, like he tattoos it on his skin, and then it changes to a copper silver,
and it changes or something.
That actually might work if you got a real tattoo like in the moment of like a copper coin, and then at the end he waves his hand and it goes silver. You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Color changing tattoo, like to match the
to match the coin, And then if you think about David Blaine, he would probably, I don't know, show up to the bank or something and just, you know, you got a silver coin, grab it, goes to copper, you know, whatever, stare at you, you know.
That's what he do. He would probably use the pattern straight out of like the Johnson product instructions, and like turn it all about the reaction of the spectator, you know.
He's awesome. And they would love it, right? Because everybody loves those characters for different reasons.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm just saying, like, he would, I think that he would do it with reaction. I think he would make the magic stronger.
Of course, yeah. So I just find that a nice exercise when you're trying to find your character and who you are in the world of magic. I've done it before myself, is thinking about how the top magicians do things and why people enjoy them or what they're doing. And then, okay, but what about me? How could I do it? And what would make it personal to me, you know?
Yeah.
Just a little exercise. Hope that helps.
does. We need to do it more often.
So let's see. We talked about a little about reverse engineering and kind of what you want people to come away with. The only thing we didn't really talk about that was kind of here that was pretty interesting was how you dress and how that, I mean, you talked about the hat a little bit, but do you have any more thoughts about how people can think about their dress and appearance, even maybe stage appear, like environmental appearance, and how that relates to their character?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a street performer, you want to be the loudest looking guy on the street. Not just the loudest guy that can hear. You want to be the loudest visual guy because it's loud on the street and people can't always see. You want them to be able to see you from blocks away, and your bright colors or your interesting garb, or maybe you want to be up on a platform standing a little bit higher, at least to initially gather the crowd. If you're on stage, you want to be a spectacle. I mean, and that's I think part of it. Typically, you're on stage, you want to have that interesting look, something that makes people want to watch, want to stare. I mean, that's all part of the big stage show. Is if it's dancing girls as a distraction, or if it's the classic. And you look at Copperfield's team. I haven't seen Copperfield in a couple of years now, but like Copperfield is dressed. At last I saw him, he was in a button-up shirt. He was pretty much like very business casual. But his whole team behind him, they're in solid black, so nothing distracts from him. So he's the interesting one on stage. But his team is always walking around, moving props nonstop. I mean, there's a lot of movement, people movement on stage. But Copperfield is still the center of attention because he's got on the blue or the white shirt, I guess, whatever he's wearing right now. I don't know, but yeah, it's you want to make sure that you are visually telling the storyteller, that you're visually there. And that all goes into the nonverbal cues about everything that you're doing matters and communicates, and your shirt color, your choice, that kind of stuff. Those are nonverbal communicators. Those are things that are communicating to your audience about who your character is. And so, I remember that's one of the huge things. I don't know if any of you guys ever enter into magic competitions. And that was the thing that always killed me, always drove me crazy about magic competitions, is you've got typically most score sheets at the 4 or 5 different conventions I competed at. They're pretty much always really similar. There's 100 points possible, or maybe 110, 120. And 10 of those points is based on appearance. And I figured out really quick after my first magic convention, I was going to wear a suit and a tie every single competition. And you know why? Because it was 10% of the points. It was 10 points. And if you were wearing a tie, you were automatically down 5 points.
And if you look back at some of the older Copeland Coins products, you can see Jeff carried that over into he was always in a suit and tie for, what was it, for Treasure? For Rialme, probably.
I was wearing a coat. I don't know if I have a tie. I might have had a tie on some of that.
I remember the blue shirt and the tie. That's what I remember.
Yeah. But yeah, seriously. Because I remember I watched this. Now, don't get me wrong. I saw Shin Lim win the IBM. He didn't win the Gold Cups. They don't pass that out every year. But I competed against him, and there's a true story about that. His mom thought I beat him, so that's my only claim to fame.
Wow.
Shin Lim won the competition. Let me be clear. He deserved to win, but his mom thought I won.
You have a quote on your website like Shin Lim's mom?
I should. But the story is very interesting. So Shin Lim is dressed in basically what you saw in season 1, how he came out, America's Got Talent, his red tie and everything's dressed very well. And by this point, I'm wearing the tie and stuff because I literally lost competitions based on appearance. And so I figured out, you got to wear the tie. It doesn't matter if that's real world or not. It's a competition because you have to communicate to your audience. Again, in this case, the audience is your judge, and the judge passes out the trophy or the scholarship or the prize money. So you got to communicate to the people that are judging you. And so take that with a grain of salt to when you go out and perform, you need to communicate to your real world audience. And competition is completely different. But I will say this, in the final contestants, Woody Aragon was also up against Shin Lim that year. And you know how Woody Aragon was dressed? How he always dresses. T-shirt and shorts. And he has on a Superman shirt. He's just dressed what we might say is like ratty. And you would never think he's a magician. And that's his character. That's the beautiful thing about it. Woody is completely disarming because he does not dress like a professional slick magician. And that's mostly the Spanish school of magic. You look at Juan Tamariz, his long hair and his teeth are crooked, and he's got this just, he kind of looks a little bit like a ragamuffin, kind of just a guy off the streets. And that's why he's so disarming.
Like an oddball uncle a little bit.
Yeah, oddball uncle with the magic top hat. And we know Tamariz, and his culture knows him because they grew up watching him on TV. You know, he's a super huge magician over there in Spain.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, incredible stuff. So anyways, Shinlin won the competition, but Woody was really close. And I know for a fact, I don't know whether Woody could have beat Shinlin. I do know that Woody fried our minds with some incredible magic we had never seen from Spain before. It was cutting edge at the time. I know for a fact Woody got hammered on appearance because he didn't dress for the judges' expectations. And so that's just something to be aware of, that you are communicating something. And I applaud Woody because I think his dress is phenomenal. I think wearing a Superman t-shirt and shorts is very disarming to his audience. And I think it's amazing killer. But in the magic competition, he didn't meet the judges' expectations, and it hurt him. So again, I don't know whether he would have beat Shin or not. I don't know the official scores, but I do know that did happen. So
that's super helpful, because that is just another factor into, like, when you're thinking about your dress and your garb and what you're going to present. How do I present me in this environment versus another environment? So even when we're talking about getting back into restaurant performing, you know, hopefully with the world opening back up and that kind of thing, it's like, what does this restaurant, what is kind of the level of outfits that people wear in this restaurant? Is everybody showing up in cocktail attire? Does that mean that I need cocktail attire? Or is everybody kind of in jeans and shirt, and maybe if I wear a button-up shirt, that's enough to make me look different? You know, what is that level of your environment that could still communicate you, but, you know what I mean, kind of fit the, not fit in, but fit the environment?
And Caleb, do you go by the rule? There's a rule out there I was taught earlier on. If you're the magician, you dress one notch above. Like, do you do that?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, for sure. You dress, because like when I would perform, I'd pretty much wear like a button-down shirt like this. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but this is just a collared button-down shirt. And then I'd wear like a cool little jacket over top of it. Not a suit jacket, but just like a zip up. But everybody else was wearing just like casual clothes. So that just kind of and little dress shoes kind of added this little air of, like, people would think I was the manager, you know, for the type of environment I was working in that particular restaurant.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good vibe. If people think you're the manager, they're going to automatically give you respect.
Or why is this guy over here? And you got it in already, you know?
You instantly have a reason to open your mouth. That's a huge thing there. Yeah.
And there's another.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, like, you talked about me with the coat and stuff like that. Again, I'm coming across, particularly when I approach in my first effects, I won't do a magician in trouble or set the bar low until the second or third effect to try to get out of it. But I don't care at the very beginning if people think I'm coming in with skill. Like, I'm all about flourishing with cards. I'm all about displaying skill. So if somebody wants to think I'm sleeving, go ahead. I don't care. Like, 'cause in my mind, you're not going to catch me anyway. And so that's where I'm going to start with my performance. So yeah, I'll wear long sleeves, I'll wear a coat or whatever, but I'll try to be just a little bit above my audience. And sometimes I can do that with the lapel pin or, you know, anything like that.
And one more tip for you guys when you're thinking about this, so it doesn't become overwhelming, like, oh shoot, well, how am I going to know until I get there? Just a fashion tip from Fashion World is you can always dress down, but you can't dress up, kind of thing. So if you show up with the tie and the suit jacket, you could take the jacket off, leave it in the car, and take the tie off, or just leave the tie on, take the tie off, roll the sleeves up. You could go down, but if you show up looking to the nines, then you give yourself some options. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, dress to the nines. And Christopher said he shows up in a Hawaiian shirt. That sounds like that fits the character. That's good. Yeah. Danny DeOrtiz wearing a t-shirt. That's true. Back to that Spanish School of Magic. So it all just kind of fits what you're trying to portray, just like we were saying, you know?
Yeah.
Just absolutely. Some thoughts. Well, I think before we close out, we want to show that little new segment, right?
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
Yes.
I'll explain it to you guys, and then we'll have Jeff is going to kind of lead it. So basically, we've been talking to you about submitting performance videos that we could give a little feedback on and help everybody just make more beautiful magic and point out things that we thought was great, and everybody just kind of help each other, if that makes sense. And so we did have a video submitted by Christopher Valentine, I believe it is. And let me just make sure he's here. Yeah, Christopher Valentine. He has this great little coin effect. I'll just play it for you guys, about a minute long. We'll all watch it together. And then Jeff has some things, a little feedback to say about it to make it even better for all of us. All right. So let's see. Let me turn the volume on here. Here we go.
Wow, man. Such talent at such an age. So
I'm telling you, man, he looks young. I don't know how old he is, but that's beautiful. Is that beautiful?
Yeah, that's just amazing. I don't want to guess his age and insult everything, but I would think he's a pretty young guy. Be doing those moves at that level. That's just super stuff, Christopher. Just man, I'm impressed. There's some really strong magic, and there's some cool moments and some good misdirection. There's a lot going on there. And part of this segment is we want to be able to help you, what we can see, the things that we can help you make this magic a little more beautiful and take it to the next level. So with that in mind, with praise to just some really, really good handling of coins, just give you a couple of things to think about. First thing is be aware of the tension. And this is something you'll hear me almost anytime I chime in. If somebody asks for feedback on a Facebook video, when I get a chance to give feedback, it's usually be aware of the tension. Pay attention to the tension, as Andy Stanley says, somebody that I listen to on a podcast pretty regularly. And what I mean by that is, Christopher, when the video starts, your hands are already up here in position, and there's a lot of tension hanging out in this right hand. Now, as we magicians, we're pretty much seeing that, expecting there's coins that are going to appear somehow out of this hand. Like, usually this is not a card hold out at the beginning of a card trick. Usually this is not anything going on except for on an online video like this, that there are going to be coins, our coin, single coin, multiple coins, something coming out of this hand. Now, with that tension, there's several different things going on. There's several different cures for it. One thing you can do is you can create it with a magic wand. So I've got my glasses here. Now, naturally, the tension is dissipated because, well, there's a reason for it. I'm holding this. But usually, if the hand's up like this, there's a reason. And we got the glass here, right? And so the other reason that this is telegraphing that there's tension is, well, maybe there's something hidden in the hand. And so that would be the first thing that I would challenge you to start a little more relaxed and natural. Now, I used to think all the tension was coming from the shoulders, and I do think a lot of it is there, and that's a big tell. When your shoulders are tight, you look at a good athlete, and that is how they maneuver with the juke and the fake and how they get the ball around the next guy. The shoulders is the movement that tells. And so there's a lot of tension there. But the other thing is, if you're doing weights or lifting, realize, what is that motion right here? It's the bicep muscle. The bicep muscle. So if you can relax just a little bit and come from here, even in that presentation, just come down, let some of the tension out of the biceps, let some of the tension out of the shoulder, you're naturally going to be a little more relaxed. Okay. And so some of that is, I know it's an Instagram camera angle. And so that's something that I would say to be a little bit aware of. Just spend a couple extra seconds and edit the video to where maybe you're more relaxed at the very beginning, where you're not starting in this kind of position. I know there's some need to touch and start, but what I would say is almost every cell phone, which I assume that was filmed on a cell phone, that you have the option to press play, press record, take a deep breath, relax, and then go into your magic. Now you come back and add the same thing on the end. You relax, and then you press stop separately. So you come back and you edit out that kind of stuff. And so that's what I would say, like, pay attention to the tension in your body, because it's telegraphing something. To a lay person, they don't know that a coin is coming. They don't know that a card is coming. A lay person doesn't understand magic, but they know that there is tension in your body. And it goes back to that whole idea of being a confident performer, and the difference between able to come up to the table and give a strong handshake, because that's when you say, hey, my name is Jeff, I'm here. Oh, you're the manager of the restaurant, so they want to shake your hand, like we just talked about. Or, hey, my name is Jeff, I am the magician here today. Oh, okay. They naturally, most people are excited to see you, particularly if you have a key up front, or if they know they've come to your show. And if you're already holding out coins with tension, you're in a load of pain, because then they'll say, okay, oh, here, let me shake hands. Oh, let me get reset for this trick, And so that's the whole reason Blackbird was invented on my website, was so that I can approach the table with no tension. And so if you watch the teaser, the training video for Blackbird, but if you even watch the trailer, you'll see how my shoulders are relaxed and I'm able to produce coins from nowhere. That's really, really key. So that's the number one thing. And then there's just one other thing, and it relates back to the topic.
Real quick,
yeah.
Just a follow-up question with that. What is like an object you might, because you showed the glass and you showed the glasses, but what's an object that kind of relates to this routine that you would say maybe would be a good thing? I like the magic wand principle you pointed out.
Yeah, definitely magic wand principle. Well, I mean, it could always be a magic wand. I mean, particularly if you're a magician, that's a dead giveaway. If you approach the table holding a magic wand, that's the reason nobody's gonna ask to shake your hand. And you could be holding your coins ready, and you set the wand down the table and you begin to magish. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And again, it's a clear nonverbal communicator of who you are. But a routine like this, there's obviously objects and props. You could use an odd coin. You could use a coin purse frame. You could use, if there's a justification for your magic. And that's kind of like what, if it comes in, if you got an idea, Caleb, throw it out there. But it kind of comes into this whole idea today. This is why this video is perfect for the topic, is knowing your character. And so what I would say, Christopher, is the number one thing beyond the tension that could help this video, and we'll take it up 3 notches at least, because the slights are good. And I could sit here and critique things, and I could tell you, well, this, that, or I could try to say, well, that could be better. Let's work on 1 or 2 things at a time. I think 2 things is probably a good thing. The number one thing you could do is to greet the camera. Like I said, after that breath, just look at us and give a little smile. And just let us know that we're watching. Or get into the magic, and after you go for a couple seconds, say, then let us know that you're aware of our presence. And so just this friendly thing of just being there and being aware of your audience. And I think so many people are, when they're practicing like this, they're staring directly at the camera, and they get that funny camera eye glaze. I'm going to come up with a term name for this, but so many guys, they're doing. Am I doing it right now, Caleb? Can you see it?
Yeah, because you're not looking at me. You're just looking at the camera to look at your own hands.
Yeah.
And it feels very disconnected. It feels like, okay, let me just show you this real quick. I hope you enjoy it, but I'm not here with you. There's a difference between being here with you as we're doing this magic kind of thing. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I think so. And so Chris, I don't care how you're dressed. Like I talked about earlier, the t-shirt or any of that kind of stuff. I think that you could back up the camera a little bit better and maybe get a little more full frame, and then bring your hands, like we always talk about making things bigger, bring your hands up to the camera to make the magic. And if you can see from the side here, my arms are extended out. Then you can do that, and then you can get back in full frame to be more relaxed. And again, if I shifted my camera vertical from the distance here, I could have more of a relaxed body and come into it, and then come out and present right here and do the magic up here. That wouldn't be a problem. But I think that's just the number one thing, and it builds into what Caleb said, knowing your character. And if your character related to the audience just a little bit more, and you smile at the very beginning, and you allowed us into what your experience is personally, you'd tell a better story. And maybe at the very end, you're done, and you look back at us. Maybe it's a confidence, maybe it's a wink, maybe it's just a smile. I'm just having fun. Whatever your performance is, I think you would connect to us on a totally different level. So there's something to work on your character, and something to work on your slights, your tension. And I think that will really make that video so much more beautiful.
And let me point out, just to kind of drag it back to our other topic earlier. If you were the oddball uncle, you might not need to smile in that thing, but you would fill out your character. In my head, for example, the oddball uncle, maybe you start holding a coin purse and you talk about how it's such a great way to keep your what is, and now the coin appears, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now it's like this, comedy of the props, like where is this coming from? Now let me vanish, so there's like a motion going on.
I can see if you're the
Connection.
oddball, you communicate. You got the ear here, and then you go and produce the coin from, like, feels like it's behind your ear, like real time, and just, oh, there's
Sure.
another one, and then you're just producing. I could see that, but that communicates that there's something interesting there.
I think at the end of the day, all you're saying, Jeff, with regards to the character, it can be encapsulated by talking about story. Like you want to create a story. And Christopher, those moves are beautiful. Just like Jeff said, we don't have any critique. I mean, it's just phenomenal. But all we're trying to do is give you just little tips to make it even better. And one of those ideas is creating a story, because people love stories so much. With it, no matter what it is, this could be the shortest little concept, but people love to be engaged and charmed with the story. So no matter what it is, if there was some kind of way to, like Jeff said, engage with the camera as if it was a person and draw them into some kind of little reality that you're creating, I think that would be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I say just do that through whatever means it means to be the beginning, and don't linger on it there. You smile, go into the magic. Don't leave me waiting 10 minutes for you to set anything up. Just get into it. And we'll talk about that more, I'm sure, with other videos. But yeah, please submit your videos. I hope this was helpful for Christopher. And again, I hope this was helpful for you, that maybe you can compare this to some of your own videos, your own magic. But we're going to try to do this segment. So if you've got anything you've got filmed, please send to us, and we will treat you with the utmost respect. We want to see good magic. We want to be a part of good magic. We want to teach good magic. That's the whole Copeland Coins brand. And so we will treat your video with respect and hopefully help you out, because that's what we're here for.
Of course. And we did promise to, I want to give him a little shout out as a thank you. This is Chris's Instagram. If you want to go see more of his magic and his YouTube, go support good magic, because I mean he put a lot of time. I mean, those are beautiful, just beautiful presentation. And it takes a little courage to offer that to everybody here. So go check out Christopher, and like we said before, submit your videos here. We'd love to share good magic. And we do have one final question. It's a little unrelated, but I thought it was important. Jeff, this is for you. Is the Tiger Tan 100% copper? Tomer asks.
Yes, the coin itself, well, it's up to, if it's 100% copper, it'd probably like bend right in your fingertips, but it's like 90% plus. It's like what would be considered pure grade copper, and there's a tarnish resistant coating on it, which is what makes it still look like copper even though it's exposed to the air. So yes, if you were to listen to the coin, you can hear the copper. It's a very it's as pure as you would ever make a coin historically out of copper, if that makes sense. So.
Beautiful. All right, perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I think with that, we're going to wrap it up. Anything else you got to say, Jeff?
No, I just thank you guys for tuning in at this different hour, and hopefully we'll be back with Rick next time. So just the crazy summer schedule, and send us your questions. Please send us your videos. We'd love to get feedback. So
sounds good. We'll see you next week, 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. All right.
12 p.m. next week.
Is that what I said? Oh, yeah, 12 p.m.
Yeah,
sorry.
12 p.m. Eastern Daylight, yeah.
12 p.m. All right, sounds good. You guys have a good day. Thanks.